Hey everybody, it's Erica here, and I have been talking a lot about reprogramming your subconscious mind. And, this is a tactic that has been used against humans for years and years and years. But when you awaken to the fact that this is going on and you're able to rewire yourself, this is um, this is generally what people are interested in when you're thinking about, what does it really do to rewire my subconscious or my superconscious, pretty much all the consciouses, um, and those who take the time to do this can really change their lives. So, like, I'm in the process of a lot of this stuff, but as part of my goal to come out with more conscious talking videos, you know, there's all kinds of programming embedded into your subconscious right now that are basically either working for you or working against you. And if you're programmed with what's working against you, then this is why you make decisions and you don't know quite why things are going on. And a lot of people get to this point of wanting to know what's going on in their subconscious wiring when they've hit the point where they just don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, why does a certain thing keep attracting into my life cycle after cycle? Like, what can someone do to really just break the cycle of dysfunction? So a lot of people who are doing this work right now have come into seriously traumatized, broken family situations, seriously traumatized relationships, even relationships with children of theirs. Like, there is a lot of toxicity being transmuted right now. Okay. I want to make sure this is more of a quick video. But, I want to give everybody a chance to just kind of chill with me, sit down, get some tea, and kind of follow along because I kind of look at the subconscious and the unconscious and the superconscious and all these other parts of us, these underlying parts of us. I look at that kind of like a garden, and there's different rows, there's different kind of layers, and basically when someone thinks about their ideal life and what they want, they want to just kind of plant the seeds of flowers to grow, right? In all their many consciouses. However, if you are absolutely overloaded to the max with negative programming, destructive programming, other kinds of unwanted programming, then before you start that process of rewiring, you need to first dismantle what was already done. So this is kind of where people would maybe give up. It's a lot of work to dismantle a program, let's be honest here. And a lot of people, when they get to this point where they're having these realizations or having these questions come up, they either get on board with the healing or they allow things to just stay as they are, and they lose themselves to the matrix programming. Now, if you're here watching this video, it means, you know, you're awakening to something. And the dismantling of what's already programmed can be done several different ways. Let's just say that. There's, you know, whatever works for some people can work for other people, but we can talk about those different ways in a separate video, because it's like a whole nother thing. But when you are removing, and I like to think of when you're removing something like an issue, like a deep-seated core belief, or something that you took as truth that actually isn't truth. And these happenings, or the moment in time, the memory of when something happened, or when you learned something and you took it as truth, is a little bubble of a memory here, and they're all embedded in your energy field. And I think of the ones that need to be removed, they're like turnips, you know? Sometimes you gotta really work to dig stuff up. And the healing journey is not for someone who will make excuses, because whatever you say to be true is true. So if you're telling yourself you don't have time for healing, or you don't want to believe the truth, you don't want to open up to the truth, and that's how it will stay. If you tell yourself that you're open to hearing truth, you're open to receiving truth, you're open to healing from all the instances where you were made to believe something was true but it wasn't. These are deep-seated, a lot of times unbeknownst to the person, because you can think, oh, well, I know this with my mind, but it's not about your mind. It's about your underneath lying core. What are you made out of? What is the substance? And if you don't like what you're put together with, you can remove that and rebuild yourself in the form of love and light. So this is what we're doing. And in order to make any of the mind work affirmations work for you, you must make sure that there is a fresh soil to plant these seeds in. So that's where I come in. A lot of people can just do that right off. But for those who go through that process and then they realize that nothing's changing, then they have to question, is there deeper beliefs? Because, you know, the affirmations and stuff like that do work on a surface level. But if what's underneath does not match up with your surface level thinking here in the brain, if what's running underneath isn't lined up with this, it's like it's working against each other. And this isn't going to matter, because this is pretty much steady. So if you want to get your under subconscious working for you so that it's moving in motion with your brain waves and what you're thinking and what you've reprogrammed in your mind, then you got to go a little deeper, and you got to get there. And it's a process. It's a long process. But sometimes there's major shifts. Sometimes there's little tiny ones. But, you know, I constantly work at things. And I'm like, hopefully somewhere near done, but like I want to think like, oh, you're never really done. But I've been awakened to a lot of truth. I'm aware of my subconscious now. I'm aware that my subconscious and my superconscious is a living, breathing part of me. And that I want all my consciouses, all my bodies, everything to be fully activated and run by my soul, my higher self, because I'm not gonna be programmable to anyone else anymore. And that's what it's about, being a glitch in their matrix. Some of us aren't programmable. And some of us got programmed on certain levels, but the soul ultimately won and said, hey, wake up. Look what's programmed in your subconscious. Look what's programmed in your superconscious. There are slave contracts. There are poverty contracts. There are abuse. There's a lot of shit going on in people's subconscious. And that's why so many of us have been working on this conscious healing, that it's literally now at such a high, fast pace, like uplifting from us all, filtering out all this fucking subconscious shit, that now it's being revealed at a worldly level, like the evils that have been tried to be overtaken this whole world is light getting shed on it. And what are you doing when you're healing your own subconscious? You're just shedding light on something that's always been there. It's just that you never paid attention to it. That's all. And that's why we call it sleepers. Because what the system, what the schooling, what the government only wants you to think is your brain. The brain is just a muscle. The brain is not the boss, okay? Your soul needs to be the boss, okay? Not the brain. But because they're aware of the subconscious programming and all the many different levels of how to infiltrate someone's psyche, how to run certain programs to loop, and eventually manifest world domination over each individual as well as the whole. These are the tactics they've already known about. So doing it to yourself in a loving way is just, what I'm doing. So this is a huge fucking thing. All right, this subconscious reprogramming is a huge thing. So most people are never going to even think outside their brain. But there is more layers to each body. Your astral body, your bliss body, your pain body. Each one is running programs. Each one is running bloodline trauma being passed on generation to generation until you decide you're going to stop it. You are going to break the dysfunction. And so those of us who've been called to do that, we're doing it. We're fucking doing it. But, yeah. Rewiring your subconscious is not something that you take a break from. You either choose to live in that manner or you don't. I gotta check on these babies. One more snippet before I let you go, because I want to keep this a short video. While we're on the subject of reprogramming your subconscious, and super conscious and unconscious and all the consciouses, but you know what I mean. When reprogramming your subconscious patterning, it is not just one thing going on here. Like, let's just, for example, take the inner child. A lot of us have a childhood where we grew up not really seen, not heard, not treasured, not able to have someone in their life to connect to on an emotional, intimate level, trusting level. A lot of us have dealt with control issues, being controlled or trying. That's where a lot of this labeling side note also. That's where a lot of labeling comes in. ADHD, ODD, ADD, any of that shit. I'm sure there's a million 3-letter words that people can use, but they all mean the same thing. Not programmable. Glitch. Be the glitch. Be the fucking glitch. Because too many people are literally walking around completely accepting of the fact that someone else has programmed their subconscious to make them think that this is it. They go to work every day, they pay their taxes, they're on the brink of survival every time, and they're enslaved by a government, okay? And where are you enslaving yourself on a personal level, okay? When you look at this uplifting and this healing of shedding light on situations, well, light is being shed on a lot of evil situations in the world right now. And when you're doing your own self-healing, you got to shed the light with that darkness and pain inside of you. And then once you see that, you can transmute that, turn that into positive energy, filter it through, and then that's the light that's uplifting the earth right now, so that the consciousness as a level can dismantle, disrupt, erupt. Okay, right now there's a lot of shit being erupted, a lot of shit's going on, and then when it falls into place, the only thing that's going to be left is who triumph over evil, and that's New Earth. And the ones who will continue to sleep, as they say, the wheat is being separated from the chaff. Blood's being shed, folks. But there's a lot of rescuings going on behind the scene. And in self terms, where did you need to rescue yourself? In what situation did you feel that you needed rescued and no one came? Those are situations that you got to live through again when you heal. Feel the feelings of that scared kid. Feel the feelings of whatever it is you went through again, in order to see it from a new perspective. And when you see the happening from a new perspective, what did you learn from that? What did you acquire from that happening to you? See where it gained you, and then set yourself free of the emotional connection to the actual incident. Because it's the emotional connection with the incident that lies underneath. Now, we can cut that tie and then just save the lessons learned in the brain. But until that tie is cut, then it's just too much holding you there. That's a cord that's holding you there. That's a subconscious cord and patterning that's holding you to incidents. Think about how many incidences in your life and past lifetimes have these little cords hooked into you energetically that you don't even know about. Just saying, when you become aware of those, when you are accessing higher states of consciousness, to see those, to feel those, it gets uncomfortable. But isn't it more uncomfortable to be completely turned off and shut down and not accessing higher consciousness? So I figure, take the time to fucking clear this shit out, then replenish yourself with the loving seeds of how you truly intend to want to live your life, and not let any chains from any past ever affect how the future goes forward. And that is all part of rewiring your subconscious, rewiring this underlying driving wheel to say everything is always working out for me, not the opposite. Okay, it's cutting me off.